Welcome to Unsigned 518. I'm here with Juliana Joy, aka JJ's Okay. How's
That's
it going?
me. Hi.
Now we just met a couple minutes ago, and I've been familiar with the name certainly for a while. Like my work through Metroland, I feel like I know kind of what's going on like in the local music scene. But like we just met, and you've brought your guitar, or actually it looks like multiple instruments.
Yes.
And we're going to hear some live music, which I'm super excited for because I haven't had a live performance in a little bit. But
Awesome.
before we get to that, I think I told you this is not an interview, it's just a conversation. So really, what's on your mind?
I don't know if you want to put this in the episode, but just, we did mention something about the life of our current country's leader ending.
Yeah.
And that would just really put a pep in my step.
I'd be just fine with that. So I guess what's on your mind?
Not to get political,
Right.
but
Well,
somebody should kill the president.
It's not even political at this point. But
Everything
I
is
guess
political.
outside of assassination speak.
Oh, right. Music, right.
Music. Yeah. So how did you I guess I will ask a question. I was like, it's not an interview, but I guess I will ask a question. When did you realize that music was your thing?
Well, music has been a pretty constant presence in my life since childhood, as my parents were both into music. My mom was a vocal major. My dad was a drummer in high school, and we always had this music room, and they forced us to have piano lessons, which was, not a bad thing. But it's interesting that you mentioned like knowing or realizing that it was my thing, because for a long time it wasn't my thing. It was just one of the things, and it still is, to be honest. I have a really broad range of artistic talents, ways that I engage with art, and I've continued to expand it. This year is the first year that I got into doing poetry. When I say this year, I'm sorry, last year, 2025, I really got into making poetry and spoken word and rap music, which is not really like out there yet, but is a future project. And physical art as well is kind of a brand new thing that's a little bit scary, but like I'm in that place now where doing things that are a little bit scary are really, it's just, I love the sense of growth from it.
Having all those creative outlets, do you feel like it's nice and evenly spread across everything, or do you find yourself focusing on music like this month and then doing poetry that month, or is it just kind of like it's all there all the time, I guess?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of factors. And I'm not sure always like why I'm drawn to one particular form or even like the style of what I'm doing. It's just, it ends up that I'll start getting into a flow with something, and then I keep returning to it until something else kind of interrupts it or catches my attention. So as someone with pretty severe ADHD, it's very much just like I put in work now to try to keep some sort of consistency, but a lot of it is just that different forms of art pull me in, and it's like I almost feel like I don't have a choice. It's just, okay, this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of like doing like a multimedia project, like something that involved art and poetry and music and visual something, but was all one? But you're nodding your head, so like, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something on the horizon.
That's cool.
Looking forward to that isn't set in stone, and I'm a little afraid about mentioning it because now it's like, oh, that's real. But I'd like to do it. The poetry that I've been writing, I'm considering putting together a sort of live exhibition in which you can come and see the poetry at any time, maybe for like a week, but then on a specific day and time, I'll be there playing live music, and you can take one of the pieces that have hung up and bring it to me, and I'll read it while I'm playing music. So that's one example.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like, and I'm someone that's like a drawing, like a physical medium. I'm awful at it. Like I can't express like what I'm thinking and put it onto paper. But like poetry has always been a thing of mine. Like even when I was in like middle school and shit, and it wasn't cool to like write poems. I was like, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. But like I love the idea that you said you have all these talents that are kind of, not one of them is your thing. They're all your thing, and that's, I don't know, it's just interesting to me. So like as far as music that you're creating, like original music, when did you start writing original music?
Things really started to take off after I moved to the Capital Region about 3 years ago, and it was always something that like was aspirational. Not that I had any like big dreams of becoming a rock star, but that I had always, like, since taking guitar lessons as a kid, and listening to Taylor Swift, and just like loving the whole songwriting thing, I tried, and I was really hard on myself, and I would typically make something that was probably great, like for what I was doing at the time, and then I would hate it, and I would just never finish it. And I went through a lot of phases of that, of trying, having half of something and then never finishing it, and then something changed as different parts of my life started to shift. I put that shifting energy into the music, and it sort of fueled this feedback loop. Once I started going to open mics and people were listening and applauding, and it helped heal a lot of that like sense of imposter syndrome.
And do you think like being that hard on yourself, like if you're looking back, like in retrospect, do you think that helped shape your craft? Because I think if you maybe were like, oh, this is great, it doesn't need any improvement, you wouldn't have opened the songs that you have, I guess. Like,
it's like a catch-22, or what's one of those, there's another phrase where it's like I think it goes both ways, where I personally think that there's more opportunity for growth with less self-criticism, and that growth is what makes art valuable, even if from a critical perspective you don't think it hits all the right notes.
right.
That's my personal perspective. I do think that my level of like obsessiveness, which is part of my self-critical, like part of my self-criticalness, it's made it so that people have a lot to dig into, and it's made me stand out because I like standing out, and like the stuff I do, I spend a lot of time making my own music more than I at this point listen to other people's music, so it ends up being kind of just a unique expression of myself. A lot of times people are like, I'm not quite sure you have a unique sound,
And I mean, I like what you said, how like the adaptability and the growth is like part of it. But like myself, like I'm someone that like if someone tells me that I can't do something, I'm more apt to. And even if that person telling me something sucks is myself, like I still want to prove myself, So if I'm like, that's not good, man, I'll be like, I'll show you, then I'll like write something until like I like it. If that makes sense, I don't know.
I think I'm more evil. I think I'll hear someone's music that I don't like, who's like more confident than me, and that fuels me. I'll be like, wait, they're worse than me, but they think they're better. I really need to be less hard on myself.
Well, I mean, everything helps to serve something, but you're right. Like, because confidence is a necessary thing. And I've always said to people who are like afraid to show their confidence, like, you're up there doing it. And there's people that have paid to be here to watch you do it, which means you should have confidence. Like, you know, like you should be confident. Like, it's not cocky or unwarranted. Like you almost have to have it, because nobody wants to see somebody on stage that doesn't believe in themselves.
I think I've very often been able to embody a sense of confidence, but it's not always the case. And I'm like, some of my, what, scrap it. Whatever. What's your next question?
I don't really have a next question, but we are kind of at that point where I think we should hear a song.
Okay.
And I see you've brought multiple instruments. So which one do you want to play first?
I think I will go for what's new, which is my banjo, which I just bought recently, and it's still very fresh for me. I'm fully self-taught, and I have an original tune called Percy's Reel, which it's instrumental. I'm not sure how much more to say about it.
All right. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, let's check out Percy's Reel, Juliana Joy, a.k.a. JJ's OK, and we'll be right back. That was Percy's Reel, Juliana Joy, a.k.a. JJ's OK. And, that song that we just heard, obviously didn't have any words, so I guess asking you what it was about may not make as much sense. But we were talking that you're going to play another song coming up that has very, very clear themes and messages. And I guess tell us a little bit about the theme.
It's funny because I'm not sure if it's clear, but there's something to dig into. Absolutely. Okay. It's called Through and Through, and I had this moment of epiphany sort of in this fugue state. I think I had caught a bug of some kind. I was having a fever and I didn't realize it. And a lot of times when something crazy is going on and I don't understand it, I sit down with my guitar. And the song, I say when I play it on stage, I preamble it that it's about gender envy, which a lot of it is. It's about an experience that I had of feeling what I thought at the time was just like this desperate attraction towards someone, which I guess that's a fair way to phrase it. And this was before I realized that I was trans. And once I did, some of it, or around the time that I realized that I was trans, part of that realization was coming to understand that before then, I didn't really have any distinction between lust and envy. Desire was just this like sort of cloud of feelings that were overwhelming. And when I learned that some of that desire was actually me wanting to step into an identity of the person that I was sort of like craving this attachment to, it changed a lot for me. And there's been I think it's been a big part of what I've been going through over the last year or so since realizing is how to engage with that desire in a way that's true to me. And the song is basically kind of like still having feelings for this person, but recognizing that I want to go through with me separating envy from desire, and learning to love in a new way.
And now, the way you write songs, is that something that, are you someone that always puts forth that very personal experience, or do you sometimes pull from like a fantasy place, or do you ever mix the two? Like, because I always like to find out, again, the songwriting, because sometimes you're like, well, that's clearly what this song is about, and then sometimes people write lyrics where you're like, I don't know what it's about, like.
It's definitely morphed a bit. I think everything that I've created has come from some element of my personal story, and I usually put that at the forefront and kind of as like a badge of honor. This is me being vulnerable, and then there sometimes will enter like metaphors and imagery that ties in. Yeah.
So it's like a little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, metaphors are like, as a, writing poetry or songs or whatever, are fun to use, because even as the person that writes them, I can sometimes keep the ambiguity depending on what I feel like giving of myself. Someone could be like, what does that mean? And I could tell one person, oh, that means this. And then someone that I maybe trust a little more, I could be like, well, actually, it means this. Do you do that as well? Like, kind of hide levels of ambiguity in your...
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like just the way I write, it's always felt like I have something I want to say, but I also want to say it in a way that lets you see yourself in it, whoever you are. And when it comes to like hiding meaning, I think I end up like, even I have many songs where the meaning of the line depends on if you consider the line on its own or with the following line. And I really love doing stuff like that, where it's like, it makes, it catches your ear, like your brain is like, oh, wait, I heard them say this thing, and then they finished that sentence, and now it means something else. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that's great. But so I want to hear another song, and we heard a banjo song, and then that's a guitar, if I'm not mistaken.
That is indeed. And I did a little something special with it. When I wrote the song, I was heavily inspired by a song with a mute in the guitar, and so I made a mute for myself with some felt, so it's going to have a bit of a different tone than you're used to.
Cool. And what was the name of the song again?
Through and Through.
Through and Through. All right, well, let's check out Through and Through, and then we'll be right back to wrap it up.
These gentle hands are worried that it's all just a disguise, and jagged claws are buried underneath my tear-spoiled eyes. I talk so sweet, but she's afraid of what it all implies. A sinister impression of a serpent laying lies, 'cause I've been known to peddle my appeal to varnish smooth, my paper thin through me. I love the way you do. Every time it tears me and builds me back anew. I don't know what it means, but I surrender through and through. Yeah, and when all I was sweet, all I was suffering. You held me in your arms and then you held up your hand. I couldn't be your lover, I could never be your man. Two strangers from the garden to be strangers once again. No, I hold my own, ooh, but I still dream of you. Out at midnight, howling at the moon. This ain't the game I thought I wanted to play. Oh, but love you teach me, I think I love it that way. Thought I'd lead the band, yeah, but you know every tune. Thought I'd lead the dance, yeah, but you know every move. And I've been going through it, but I'm going through with it now.
All right, that was Through and Through, performed live here in the Dazzle Den. And Juliana, I want to thank you so much for taking time into your day to come up here and have this conversation and bring your instruments and do a live performance. And for those listening, if you want to check out the video, I am going to put up the videos on YouTube of the performance. So
Yay.
If they're not up there now, it just means I'm lazy, but they will be up there super soon. But anyway, before we go, I just want to give you the chance to say what I refer to as your gratitudes.
Well, thank you, Andy, for having me, for putting your time into this. I want to first shout out my family. Moving to the capital region, my older brother was a big help in getting me just started here. My parents have been helping me out recently through some tough times. And my friends here in Troy have made a big difference in my life. Everybody go check out Girl Love, my friend Laura.
Fantastic.
She is, and she puts on a showcase, which was one of the first shows that I ever did once I came out as trans. There's another amazing, well-known local songwriter, Sawyer Fredericks, who was special to me. There's too many people to count, but to shout those people out, yeah. And then Metroland is just one of those great local publications that I'm really just overjoyed and almost like surprised when I got to read one for the first time. I was like, wait, this is here? They do this like every month? Like, how does this exist? Like, I was just so overjoyed by that. The local community, there's too many people to count who have helped me out and who have made the experience of being in a tiny city better than I would have ever imagined. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, she is Juliana Joy. I am Andy Scullin. This is Unsigned518. I'll see you on the road. Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening. Or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.